The Mythosaur is a huge deal for the Mandalorian story. With the appearance of the first living Mythosaur in canon, there are two major possibilities that I can see happening. First, Bo-Katan will tame the Mythosaur and claim the right to rule Mandalore. The second possibility is that Din tames the Mythosaur, but I'll say this about Din: he doesn't appear to have any desire for leadership, so there would need to be another reason for him to go after the Mythosaur. I'll present a third option near the end of the video, and no, it's not Boba Fett riding the Mythosaur. But before we begin, I'm going to make the cringy YouTuber ask that you utilize the like button and consider subscribing. My goal is to reach 20,000 subscribers this year. I do my best to present quality Star Wars content that focuses on the universe of Star Wars and the stories there, rather than clickbaity, who should be fired at Disney, who should be hired at Disney Star Wars videos. I started this channel as a way of talking about what we all love, and that is Star Wars and the characters and stories within that galaxy. With that out of the way, let's continue with the video. After rewatching Chapter 18 of The Mandalorian, I think that Bo-Katan is the likely candidate to tame the Mythosaur and claim the title of Mandalore. That's assuming anyone tames the Mythosaur at all. But first, let's catch up on the significance of these creatures. If you already know all there is to know about the Mythosaur, go ahead and skip a couple minutes of the video. I'm going to talk about their early history according to legends first, and then I'll point out some subtle differences in the canon history. The Mythosaurs were an enormous species native to a planet in the Outer Rim. Around 7000 BBY, the Taung, led by Mandalore the First, arrived and sought to colonize this planet. The Taung waged war against the Mythosaurs, slaughtering them using swords and axes until they drove them into extinction. The Taung then renamed themselves Mandalorians and renamed the planet Mandalore in honor of their leader. Despite their extinction, the Mythosaurs lived on in Mandalorian mythology. Their bones were used to create ceremonial weapons like the Mythosaur axe and a mask worn by each succeeding claimant to the title of Mandalore. The image of a Mythosaur skull became a symbol of Mandalorian society, used to decorate armor, equipment, and banners, and even tattooed on some individuals. The skull was also used as the sigil of various Mandalorian groups, including the Keldau clan and Mandal Motors. A failed theme park called the City of Bone was built in the image of a giant Mythosaur skeleton, which later became the headquarters of the Imperial slavers before being destroyed by the Mandalorian protectors. As you can see, the legend's history of the Mythosaur is a violent story of conquest. Canon adds a small variation to the Mythosaur's story, one that will be significant for Bo-Katan and the rest of the Mandalorian story. In Season 1, Kuill teaches Din Djarin to ride the small creatures called blurggs. When this task starts out difficult and Din is ready to give up, Kuill reminds him that his ancestors used to ride Mythosaurs, and those were more difficult to ride than blurggs. We're told that the Mythosaurs were tamed and ridden by the ancient Mandalorians rather than hunted to extinction. However, their story ends with supposed extinction anyway, when the final war between the Jedi and ancient Mandalorians causes a cataclysm that scorches the surface of the planet, causing it to be the uninhabitable place we see now. In either account, dominance over a Mythosaur was a sign of leadership for the ancient Mandalorians. This is why the armorer says, "Songs of eons past foretold of a Mythosaur rising up to herald a new age of Mandalore." Bo-Katan's first plan for uniting her people was possession of the Darksaber. The tension going into Season 3 of The Mandalorian is that Din Djarin accidentally came into possession of the Darksaber and ruined her plans to retake Mandalore. If she's going to resume those plans, she needs to challenge Din in a fight. The discovery of a Mythosaur is the way out of that tension potentially. If Bo-Katan can tame and ride the Mythosaur discovered in the mines of Mandalore, her claim to leadership will be valid again, according to the Songs of Eons Past. The more I think about it and rewatch Star Wars content with Bo-Katan, the more I think she is the right leader for Mandalore. The Mythosaur at the end of Chapter 18 could provide a way for her to achieve the title of Mandalore. But I actually think that it's possible that nobody tames the Mythosaur, and this moment is more symbolic than anything. this is that third option I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Remember the Armorer's quote about songs of eons past foretelling of a new age of Mandalore? I think that what this really means is that a new age of Mandalore is approaching. Perhaps an era where Mandalorians unite behind a leader who does not want leadership, which would be an extreme change-up for the Mandalorians. So perhaps the Mythosaur is less a beast to be tamed and more a sign of the things to come. In this scenario, that could mean a power struggle between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, or that could mean the reluctant leadership of Din Djarin. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below if you think Bo-Katan will unite her people. Third time's a charm, right? Or is it the fourth time for her? Or do you think that Din Djarin will unite the Mandalorians? Or is the appearance of the Mythosaur a sign of a completely different future for the Mandalorians? Let me know in the comments below. As always, have a great rest of your day and may the Force be with you.